Hey, what's up, everyone? I think you should be able to hear me now. Just gonna check because something bad happened recently where all of my computer settings got wiped out because my whole hard disk got wiped out. That was not my choice. Anyway, right now I'm just testing that the audio and video and everything is working as I intended because I just had to set this up all over again. I think it's working. No problems here. So the input is just manual. Okay. So you know what I didn't test? I didn't test how loud I was. So I didn't do an audio test before coming in here, but I'm gonna. But from everything I can see so far, it seems like it's not too bad. So I'll just trust the system. You know what? No, I'm gonna monitor myself. No one's even here right now, so I'm gonna monitor myself. Let's go. Wait, that's not good. To monitor through this. Okay, cannot test just now. Okay, interesting. Uh, let's start with the. Oof, just made a mistake. All right, so let's start with my own mic. My mic is over here, and I want to test the monitor. Okay, testing. 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 Okay, I guess that kind of works. There seems to be some weird clipping of some sort, but you let me know if you hear anything weird. Okay. And then if I play some random YouTube video. God damn these predictions. Give me a sec. Wait. Oh, it doesn't work. You can't hear this audio. I don't know why not, but oh, okay, this is broken. Okay, then I have to monitor some other way. Okay. So, let me try this now. By the way, if you are joining, you can like the reason I'm doing all these technical things right now is because my computer got wiped out recently, so all my settings they were not backed up, so I have to do all my technical setup one more time. I've been doing the setup for the last 40 minutes, but I'm still not done, so I decided to just start the stream. Here. Can I change? I should be able to change this mic. There we go. Okay, so now if I click play, you should be able to hear this video.
SAT, as well as students in the US on the paper test. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of concepts that are still the same. So in this video,
Okay, that's the sound of her volume, and then my volume.
I actually chose concepts that I think are relevant to both tests and that I'm pretty confident are going to show up on your test. Now make sure you watch my other predictions videos from August on up.
So we're kind of equal volume. That's a little too, it's probably too loud. How do I, why are we equal volume? I should be louder. Okay, I'll have to figure this out later. If you are watching, let me know if the volume of the YouTube is like annoyingly loud compared to my voice, or if I'm annoyingly quiet compared to everything else. Testing, 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 testing. Oh, I guess I could make myself louder like this. Okay, that makes me... Let's do this. That's too much. That's too smacky. Testing. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna just keep it like this, all right. Just drop the Google Chrome a little bit. Okay, cool. So I think everything's working. Video's working, audio.
Because all of those predictions videos are still relevant right now since they're all from this school year. And I really, really think if you watch all my predictions videos from the beginning of the school year,
is still working. It's still pretty loud, that YouTube video. Huh. Is my software working? Let me try like nuking it.
you could get a perfect score on the math.
Okay,
it
is working.
What do you want to get on English? What do you want to get on the math? Where are you scoring right now in your practices?
Okay. Hey, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, just shoot and I'll get back to you as soon as I can see it.
Let me know where you're at. And of course, this video is brought to you by Preply, the fun new digital SAT prep app, where you can actually prep on the go from your mobile device. And guys, listen, the test is a couple weeks away, so if you are a digital SAT student,
testing. Okay, so I am louder now.
5 full tests worth of questions right now, with more being added in regularly. So go ahead and download the app in the App Store or in Google Play today, so you can keep prepping with questions that are just like those on the digital SAT. And if you're a paper-based student,
cool. So that. Why is this in my feed? I don't know what that is. Okay. Dude, why am I getting all this Vietnamese? Oh, because because it kind of looks Vietnamese. All right, that's kind of annoying. I kind of wish Google knew that I'm not even a Vietnamese speaker. Anyway, this like, what is going on? Hey, Eze. Hey, Eze, what's up? By the way, if you want me to share my reactions to a video, just let me know. Let me know what video. God, I hate predictions. God, I hate predictions. It just pisses me off. Okay, I don't wanna even look at this. All right, so hang on. I think I'm almost done with the technical setup. I think I am done with the technical setup. All my audio filters that used to like take out some of the less pleasant sounds, they're gone, so I don't even remember how to set it up, so I have to like figure out some other day to set that up. But the bare minimum is ready, so here we go. Hey guys, what's up? Kurthan, what's up? I'm just trying to. Something happened with my sound thing where. Why is that not working? But these days Mac OS, because I'm a Mac user, Mac OS has been just so ridiculously buggy. Let's just test audio one more time. Help you find love. See, I can't hear anything now. That's annoying. Mac OS is so freaking buggy. What the hell? All right. All right. Well, I'll just ignore the technical aspects. I'll plug in my my earphones some other place. Give me a sec. Abdul, I see your question. Give me a sec.
And multiple relationships in all.
Okay, well at least I can hear it now, and you guys should also be able to hear it if I ever do decide to play like a YouTube video. Okay, cool. So, all right, let's be done with this, or we can go into like this recursive mode where I'm just watching myself from 2 minutes ago. Just kidding. That'll get very distracting. Okay, I will not do that. Hey Abdul, what's up? You still have issues with your reading? We do need to. I kind of wish there was some way of clarifying who's taking paper SAT and digital SAT. But if you are, before you ever ask me a question, please tell me whether you are paper SAT or digital SAT. How can I be of help? How can I be of? Am I being interviewed? Well, sir, I present myself before thee, hoping to be of help. I have been training for this moment. If you give me a task, I will hope to prove myself worthy of your affection. Do you have a more specific question, Abdul? TS47, how's my headache? My headache has, honestly, it was, thank you for asking. You must be in the server. I don't know. This cough has nothing to do with my headache. It's just me choking on my own spit because biologically I'm a dysfunctional being. Yeah, my headache was pretty bad. I don't know why. I just could not focus for the love of God all of yesterday. And today it still wasn't great. And like yesterday I was physically worse than today. But today my focus was even worse. I don't know what the hell was going on there. So I have no excuses other than I am not an adult. I'm a failed adult at best. Kurthan finished with the 4 digital SATs. Okay, so 1570 on the third and 1530 on the fourth. You found them way more difficult. Some people have been saying that it's not something I really analyze myself personally. But yeah, with the SAT as well as in everything else, just use what's called yesterday's weather. The weather is hard to predict, but hey, more likely than not, tomorrow's weather is going to be like yesterday's weather. So in this case, what this means is you got 1530, 1570. Assume that you're going to get somewhere between 1530 and 70 tomorrow, because that's much more likely than anything else. If you try to assume that you're going to get a 1570 or a 1580 or 1590, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I wouldn't want to play psychological games like that with myself. I don't think that. Plus, by setting that expectation, it is sometimes likely that you actually put extra pressure on yourself on the test day, I mean, and then that actually makes you spiral downwards. That doesn't help. That doesn't happen for everyone. People have very different ways of psyching themselves out and getting ready for things. Maybe you maybe you go into the forest and start screaming until all the birds are gone, or whatever, or until a bear finds you and then you wrestle a bear and then you take the SAT afterwards. Like, I don't know, that's up to you. But like, generally, just to be on the safe side, I mean, just assume you're gonna get somewhere between 1530 and 1570. You'll be safe. The digital SAT is representative of the scoring is a little weird. I think the scoring does kind of go up and down a bit, but the experience is representative of the real test, unless they start busting out tests starting tomorrow. I mean, or the day after tomorrow that are drastically different, which, there's no way of us knowing that. But unless something crazy happens, basically they are representative. So yeah, that is how you should. That's how I would set my expectations. TS47, your scores have been 1360, 1420, 1460, and 1530 on the digital SAT. The digital SAT, that is an extremely wide. That's extremely wide. Now, the problem with the digital SAT right now is that it is rather sensitive. It goes up and down quite a bit. I would say you're more dramatic, though. You're noticeably more dramatic. TS47, I just have a quick question. What was the time frame? When did you take those for, what's the range? Like the earliest to the latest digital SAT practice test that you took? How much time elapsed between the two, the first and the last? Then that makes sense. It sounds like you improved. So I would look. So like yesterday's weather means you're going to be somewhere between 1460 and 1530. Now that's still a huge range. So it looks like you're going to get around 1500. Okay, I think 1490, 1500. That's plus or minus 20. So to make you feel a little bit better, it looks like you're 1520 plus or minus 20. That's what it looks like. Maybe it's plus or minus 30 depending on how unstable your test taking habits are. So that that is a pretty wide range, 1460, 1530. I have a question. When you were taking those tests, were you in roughly the same physical and mental condition? Like roughly the same amount of sleep? You didn't feel very, you weren't especially sleepy when you got the 1460. You weren't coked up when you took the 1530. You were just sort of normal each time, or what? Tell me what that was like, because that affects your performance. Yeah, so that probably helped a lot, actually. I mean, just from looking at the numbers, apparently helped a lot. So good on you. That's also really big. That's a big linear improvement, man. Plus 60 and then plus 40 and then plus 70. Dude, what the heck? How did you study? Maybe you're on. It looks like you're onto something, dude. Maybe you're the one who needs to do the AMA. Jesus, how did you go? Hang on. How did you go up 170 points in 2 months? Tell us your tips. What the hell? Anyway, that's probably not going to be super useful for anyone who's going to take the test in 2 days. But if anyone wants to improve their SAT score for June, that might be TS47 might have some tips for you, some literal gold to drop in the comments. Now, Eze is saying he still has, or Eze is a Nigerian boy's name. Am I correct? I think it is. I'm going to just say he for now because I feel 80% confident. Has issues with transition words. So with transition words, the thing is that, when you say you have issues with transition words, for me, I don't know where to begin until I know how many you're getting correct. So, if you're getting almost all of them wrong, then that means that there's some very basic things you can do. If you're getting most of them correctly, except like 1 or 2, then you you're probably then there's probably some other issue, okay? And I can guess what that is. I can't be 100% because I haven't actually watched you. But without knowing exactly what level you are, are you struggling with the basic ones or are you only struggling with the hardest ones? Okay. Without knowing your particular issue, I will just say right now you can just go to Khan Academy and practice transitions only, just that little slice, and it'll probably shape you up to at least be okay. Okay, not necessarily like amazing, but like okay on the transition questions. Because the transition questions are not the hardest ones in the test. They are not. So you should, if you haven't done like a focused study on transition questions, you should just go to Khan Academy and do all the transition questions that are there. In fact, I'll show it to you right now. Now, if you are still there, please let me know what level you are at. But I'm gonna just do a quick search just so everyone knows where they can quickly find the transition questions, which is right. There's a new structure, so I'm not actually 100% sure on this. So I'm gonna click on all three: foundations, medium, and advanced. Let me go through them. And after this, I'll get to Kurthan's questions here. Where are we? Transition. It should be at the bottom then. No, where are we? Transitions. Here we go. So probably if they haven't changed the, do they repeat questions? Yeah, I wouldn't know how many questions will come out. Maybe because there's 4, but usually on the previous versions, when you would refresh after you do 4 questions, you actually got 4 more questions until you got like a total of 12 or 16 or something like that. So this might actually be 12 questions if you just refresh every time, you know. So if that's the case, then this is actually literally 12 plus 12 plus 12, right? And that would be 12 plus that'd be 36 questions that you could go through right now. Erica Meltzer books, and test innovators. Oh, no, I haven't actually. Where did I hear of test innovators? Hang on. That's such a interesting thing to say. I mean, the format is not helpful. It's actually just the reading that's helpful. But okay, totally disagree with that. What the? I have not been following the. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Right. I have arttest.ai, so I haven't done it yet. I haven't done this yet, so I'm gonna do that at some point as well. And Preply, I guess I'm not super interested in, but maybe I should do it. So so right now I'm debating, actually not debating. Right now I'm on track to getting my shit back together and focusing on YouTube again for this month of May. And after the May SAT, as in, next week basically, I'm almost certainly going to start doing some YouTube videos on question types. But maybe it would be better to just do test book reviews, like me reviewing test books. I'm not sure So you let me know what you guys think. But I was thinking of doing question type overviews, like what kinds of questions there are, and then go through each type of question one by one, um, which would be honestly pretty, pretty, pretty dope free content. Uh, but the reviews might be better from a standpoint of students who need practice rather than comprehension. You know what I mean? YouTube series on going through the question types that doesn't necessarily come with a bunch of practice questions. You know, that's like not as immediately useful as being like, yo, this is a good book, use this, right? Um, so yeah, and Kurthan is saying reviews, and TS47 is saying question time. So all right, one for one. All right, I'll think about it. I think there's a. I think the immediacy argument goes to the reviews, but that's actually also kind of funny because it would take me time to go through the entire book. Uh, so, but presumably I could probably do a book review within 1 week, and then that means I would have 4 book reviews after 4 weeks. You know what I mean? How many books are there even though? Like most of these are not even books. Most of these are just practice tests. I don't think Erica Meltzer even came out with a digital SAT book, and I bet even when she, no, actually, Erica Meltzer when the 2016 SAT came out, their team was actually pretty good at creating a new format for their book for that. Creating a totally new book for the new SAT. So maybe they will do a good job again this time. Although who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like yeah. I don't have a definite answer one way or the other. Now I'm noticing right now on my stream, man, this chat box looks ugly as hell. Dude, what the? But I can't fix it right now. It's just the way it is. Does anybody know CSS? What's the term I should look for in the CSS file? To like, is it width? Oh, there's a width. Hang on. Live chat text message render. Let's try changing that because this should be around. Oops, what the hell? Oh, wow. Yeah, I just did that. Oh, I mean, that doesn't look good. That still doesn't look very good, but it's because it's a little too like, it's a little sloppy, you know. It's like not wearing pants. But yeah, I mean, I had to cobble together my OBS setup in like 40 minutes. So anyway, this is the best I could do in 40 minutes. Going back to the questions though. Just so I didn't actually do a straightforward answer. No, I've not done test innovators. I heard that it was harder than the Blue Book ones. This is exactly where I heard it from. Okay. Very difficult, especially English. Solid practice though. That's what this person said. So it sounds like you are echoing that what's it called? That feedback. Sounds reasonable. I wonder. I wonder if you used my question bank as well, my question bank, which is in the Discord server. If you didn't, if you did, I'd actually be curious how you thought that they compared, Test Innovators versus mine. Just wondering, because that would be helpful when I go back to start cleaning up those questions. Some of those questions still need a little bit more cleanup work. I heard that this was the best, so I actually have a downloaded. I paid for this, so I have it somewhere on my computer. I'm gonna do this within the week actually, so I'll probably do a quick review of this one. I think it's literally one packet only though, so I mean it's gonna be a pretty quick review. So I should be able to do a review video of this within the week or latest like by next week. So our test, I'll be doing that. Okay, so that's just the books talk. That's the books talk. Now let's go back to the how do I make educated guesses on DSAT? It's question type specific. Well, it you have to give me a question type actually. Like it's just too broad. Like yes, you have to tell me a specific question type, and I could tell you about the educated guesses. But I will honestly, the sort of guessing approach is something that is very well covered by all the books, like the Erica Meltzer books. Like basically, most of these textbooks assume that you are cramming in the last week leading up to the test. And so they assume that you're not going to actually learn anything, that you're just going to need to use like statistical tricks to hopefully get things less wrong. Basically, you don't understand the question, you don't really understand the passage. You're going to make the two answer choices that are obviously wrong, you're going to eliminate them. So now you're 50-50 because there's always two answer choices that are really easy to eliminate. But then out of 50-50, like which one's more likely to be correct without even understanding anything? That's like the whole approach with these test prep books. It's not bad. They serve a specific function. They serve the function of. As a you're a girl. Oh my god. Sorry. Anyway, going back to the thing, So these tips, they serve a specific function, but the books are already covering it pretty well. For example, on like the grammar questions, when A, B, C, D, they all roughly mean the same thing, then just choose the shortest one. Okay, yeah. That's a redundancy question. Choose the shortest one. 90% of the times that'll be correct, right? All right. Not 10% of the times that'll actually be incorrect, because the College Board knows that some kids are just using these little tricks. And so they'll actually deliberately put an answer that's actually longer, or they'll deliberately make the shortest answer a wrong answer, grammatically incorrect answer. And so sometimes you just, when you're using these statistical tricks, you're gonna get unlucky because that one question, that one day, the SAT decided to be hard on that one, right? Well, but that's the name of the game. When you're just using tips and tricks without actually understanding the grammatical fundamentals behind it or whatever, then you're just doing statistically. You're playing statistical games, right? You're just looking at numbers and being like, okay, I hope it works. It's a gamble. So there are little tips and tricks like that for specific question types. Just know that they're not durable. You can't use them. Like, you shouldn't be using them forever. You should actually graduate to actually understanding the principles behind the grammar or the reading or the whatever. So yeah, if you give me a specific question type, I can tell you some common tips and tricks that are spouted on the internet and in these books. But when I actually tutor, I don't really emphasize them at all, because when I'm tutoring, I'm assuming that you are going to actually learn. Like you're not just trying to get by on these tips and tricks. So I only emphasize it at the very end when a student still hasn't fully learned and they have to just take the test and move on. So those are. So it's not really it's not really something I focus on, and that's why I don't really remember them off the cuff. You have to actually specifically tell me a question type before I start remembering. Where can you find them? I mean, if you're weak on grammar, just use Erica Meltzer's grammar book. You can't find them for reading because there aren't that many. But the most common ones are. Avoid the extreme words, right? That's the most common one for reading. I don't think there's any common tip I don't think there's any common tip for infographic questions. Let me think about it. Is there any common tip for infographic questions other than the general one about avoiding extreme language? Yeah, Yusuf, what's up? I can't think of a common one for infographic questions. The old infographic questions, there was more you could do because there was like the title. These still have titles, but then they also had like a lot of times they had like a little explanatory footnote at the bottom of the infographics. But these digital SAT infographics, they don't have that footnote. So yeah, I don't know. Is there? I don't think I've heard a single tips and tricks for infographic questions. For infographics, you just have to use your actual quantitative abilities of just like identifying the variables and the values and identifying any patterns that there are. So I'll tell you my tip, which is not really a trick. It's like you actually have to do the work. But my tip is when you're reading, try to identify the variables as you're reading, so that when you're like, let's say, when you're like 1/3 of the way through the paragraph, you have to at least look at the graph once or the table once to see if you identify one of the topics in the reading being connected to maybe like a column or like an x-axis or like the graph, right? Like try to identify the keywords in the reading directly visually to the thing that's in the table or the graph. Like that means your eyes should go up and down a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times as you're doing the paragraph reading. Okay, that's not really a trick. It's really what that is it's actually reading. You know, that's how you improve your reading. So it might not be easy for you, but it might turn out that it's actually a huge benefit for you because you're actually good at reading, but you just have been handicapping yourself by not doing that. So TS47 is asking, you know, can I explain one more time? Just here, let me actually pull up a infographic real quick. Bro, what? Where is it? Oh, sorry. Wow, it's all the way at the beginning. I was not expecting that. Okay.
So if you'd like to try this,
Give me a second. Is this a decent? Oops. No, that's not a good view. How do I zoom in on this thing? Okay. So what this means is over here, can I get rid of this energy point thing? Here, you know what? I'm just gonna go into my question bank. No, I don't want to do that. Actually, never mind. Sorry. Georgia Tech roboticists Bryant and Howard, along with Borenstein, so BHB, were interested in the perception of robots' competence. Now, I hear this idea of perception of robots' competence, and the first thing I think is, wait, maybe. So, by the way, for me, I do quickly look at the title and the rough structure, not the content, okay? Because the content is too much to analyze when I don't know what it's even going to talk about. But I do look at roughly like the x or y axis of a graph, or like the header row and column of a table, okay? Just to figure out roughly what frame of thinking I should be in. So here I see this, okay? At the very beginning, I see that they're evaluating how well they can work. All right. And then it says occupations, and then these are the occupations. Surgeon's tour guide. All right. That by itself takes me about 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay. It doesn't take that long. I know what it's talking about. It's talking about people thinking, oh my God, robots can be really good surgeons, but really terrible tour guides or something like that. That would be sort of my guess, because I'm just like a average person, and I think, how the hell is a robot going to be a tour guide? But a robot, I've seen those like 5G commercials where they pretend that these robots can do surgery on you. So, okay, I can imagine them replacing surgeons, right? So my prediction is that surgeon is going to be, robots are good at being surgeons, but not good at being tour guides, something like that, okay? So I didn't even look at it. I'm just sort of like roughly having that impression. I'm not even fully thinking it. It's just like that kind of rough, it's like a pre-thinking. It's like a proto-thought, right? I just get the framework. Okay, that takes me 3 to 5 seconds. Jobs, okay, robots, cool. 5 seconds, over. Then I look at this, and then I think, Georgia Tech roboticists, okay, BHB, we're interested in perceptions of competence. Now, at this point, would I look up at the graph? No, I would not, because I already know this part, right? perceptions of robot competence. That's already the title. I would not look up yet. They recruited participants and asked them how likely it is that they thought that the robot could do the work. Okay, am I going to look up at this point? No, this is not new to me. This is already just a framing. I'm not going to look up yet. Participants' evaluations varied. Widely. Okay, now does my eye go up? Almost. At this point, it's debatable. If you want to look up, you can. For me, I feel like it would be a little bit wild. It would be a little bit like I still don't know exactly what I'd be looking for just yet, right? Like I can guess what I'd be looking for, but like I kind of want to see if the rest of the sentence will tell me where more specifically to look for, okay? Depending on which occupation was being considered. Okay, the sentence didn't help me. Now I know I have to just look for varying widely. So what do I do? So in this case, this is kind of an easy example. It wasn't too logically complex. So literally when I look up, it's going to be literally the same thing as his answer. Okay, but in a more complex paragraph, that's the first time I look up. And then there's going to be like a second time I look up, right? In a more complex paragraph. So for this one, it's kind of simple. I only look up once and I'm done. But in other paragraphs, I might look up more than once. In this case, I'm just looking up for varying widely. Here, I just want to see... Okay, I want to see, hang on. What's varying widely? Just double checking. Oh, that the robot could do the work. So replace. So can do the work, which is likely. Okay, so which column am I supposed to look at? I'm supposed to look at the right side column. I'm supposed to look at the right side column, and then I'm going to look for varied widely. And what's the most insane variance? 16 is the min, 82 is the max. That's surgeon and tour guide. So that's funny because that's literally the opposite of what I was thinking. I thought that surgeon was going to be the one that people would think are very likely to be replaced, and tour guide. That's so funny. But am I right and are they wrong? I think that these people are wrong. These dummies. No, man. Dude, the freaking tour guides, the information of the tour guide, yeah, a robot can do that, but the personality and the experience and the fun of a tour guide, a robot can't fucking do that. I mean, it can, but it's not gonna be that fun. What? You guys are completely wrong, you idiots. Like, what's wrong with you people? What year was this? Okay, the year doesn't come out. Anyway, but this is exactly literally the backwards of what I was predicting, but surgeon and tour guide. So that's the varying widely. I have a prediction. I can move on. Okay, so that's my tip for what did I just say? Oh, for infographic questions. Okay, for what the College Board calls the quantitative evidence questions. Okay, so a bunch of other questions came up. Are Khan Academy techniques enough for reading and writing? Yes, they actually are, Yusuf. They are enough. In fact, my whole predict and match strategy, that's just the problem with Khan Academy is that it makes it too simple and it doesn't navigate you through like the really hard examples, and like it doesn't challenge you so that your bones feel like they've been turned into liquid, right? They kind of just give you sort of like softball questions, and then always Saul Khan makes it sound super easy because it isn't actually that hard, and then he speaks with that very soothing voice and that friendly tone, and guides you through what seems complex and makes you feel very comfortable, right? So Khan Academy does that one thing very well, but the problem is that it doesn't give you like the fucking FromSoft experience of you having to bash your head against like a boss like 20 times before you finally get it. So my whole strategy, I learned it more from myself, like just the way that I take the test. I didn't learn it from other people. I just observed myself very, 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 very closely. But it's the same strategy. It's fundamentally the same strategy. There are a couple parts of Khan Academy strategy that I really dislike, especially for the paper SAT where it emphasizes reading the questions first. Oh no, don't do that. Not if you're trying to get above 700. But generally speaking, overall, like the core of the strategy. I forgot Saul Khan's terminology. He has this term for it, like PPP or something, or I forget what it was. But basically, whatever his terminology is, that main idea that he tries to convey, that is very similar to my predicting and matching strategy. It's the same thing, basically. So it is enough. The problem though is that it's not necessarily enough. If you're currently getting like a 700 and you want like a 780 tomorrow, it's not enough for that, because this actually takes practice, right? Predicting and matching takes practice, whereas statistical games, they don't take that much practice. You just have to know what they are, and then you play these statistical gambles, right? But Saul Khan's and Saul Lee's strategy is fundamentally the same. So I usually score 770 on math. You don't have problems with concepts. Yusuf, before I reply to you, I just want to check something. Have you ever watched my video on this? Stop panicking. Test day. Have you ever watched this?
He throws that at you, whether it's Moby Dick passage like.
It's 40 minutes. I mean, it's long. So if I just kind of give you like if you just look at this and think about it for a second, and then you decide whether you wanna watch the whole thing, you can watch it. But have you ever seen this? I'd be curious if you've seen this before. I'll come back to you after going through some of the other questions. Word in context vocab questions. There's always hint in paragraph. Chung is saying the right thing. Chung is saying basically what I would normally say. Okay, so yeah, so I'll go through a vocab in word and context question with you. Should I do a harder one? Let's do the harder ones. Where's the advanced words in context? Let's go. Hang on. Should I just do this because it's actually easier to read? Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll just do it because that YouTube video is really hard to manage. Was this a hard one? I didn't remember this. This is not hard at all. This one's an easy one. Why is it called advanced? That one's not hard. Okay, I'm gonna look at this one just because I'm looking for a harder one.
Hello. Let's take a look at this question from the reading and writing test.
Okay, I think this one's harder. Yeah, this is. Oh yes, this is a good one. If I remember correctly, it's been a while. Oh yeah, no, this is a good one. Plenty of kids get this one wrong. This is, I think 50% of kids I've seen get this wrong the first time. So, actually, Jew. I sound like Kanye right now. I don't know how to pronounce it. Jew. I want to call you Jew for Giuseppe. Look, Jew, when you, I actually don't know your score. And you know what? I'm starting to think I might need to ask everyone to tell me their score before asking me a question, because that's the only way I can tailor my question to your level. Yeah, you know what? No, let's set that as a rule. I need to make like a little announcement. Hang on. Give me a second, guys, because more people are going to come in. And I wanna not have to repeat myself over and over. We're going to go through this vocab and question. We're going to go through this word and context question in just a second. But first things first, I'm going to do a little quick announcement, and I'm going to put it on my screen somewhere. Okay, the announcement is, before you ask a question, you have to tell me whether you're doing paper SAT or digital SAT, and then you have to tell me your reading writing score. Okay, so that's the sort of precondition to all questions right now. Let me just type this. Let me just draw this up here. Give me a sec. Okay, ignore that. Okay. What color? Okay. Screw color. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that as it is. Is there a transparency thing though? Where would I stick this? I'll just stick it at the bottom. It's super ugly, but I don't. Right now, I'm just. All right. Well, whatever. Where's the text? Okay. Before asking. Oh my god, that's super huge. Okay, let me fix that. Oh my god. Okay. That's all right. Let's make this less ugly. How do I change the color on this thing? Where's the color? Oh no, that's also hella ugly, but you know what? Uh, is that roughly visible? All right, that's kind of roughly, like roughly visible. Sure, okay, that kind of works. Dude, this is hella ugly. But whatever. All right, whatever, man. All right, I think I'm done. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that there, and then I'm gonna go back to. Let me go back to the questions now. Where are we? It's so ugly it bothers me, but whatever. Um, I lost track of the chat, so I'm just gonna start read. I'm gonna read from bottom up now because I lost track. Okay. You memorized 250 words. Do I think that approach is dumb? I mean, it's always good to know more words, but the problem is that that doesn't guarantee you're gonna get it right just because the word came out. If anything, there's a high chance you're gonna get it wrong because you recognize the word, but you don't know the other usages of the word. You just know roughly what it means synonymously. So there's actually, it doesn't really improve. So in terms of time invested, it doesn't really benefit you that much. Just to memorize a bunch of words, it doesn't help that much. It helps you in your life slowly over time, over the long term. But in terms of like this very limited time, this very sort of short time between you prepping for the SAT and then you taking the SAT, it doesn't actually help that much. So let me go back to the original question. I think Ju hasn't shared his or her scores, so I'm going to just put that on pause. Okay, I will from now on. I'm only going to answer questions where people share their whether they're taking the digital SAT or the paper SAT, and then I will answer your question. Your digital, whether you're taking digital or paper, and your actual reading and writing score. Once you share that, then I'll answer your question. So I'm gonna start from the bottom now, just because there's too much chat. TS, I just wanted reading, writing. Okay, Ollie, I get around 670 in DSAT. You want to get 700. Any technique? That is way too broad, especially for 2 days. In 2 days, there's no specific technique other than get rest and and don't eat anything special. So on the day of the SAT, just eat what you normally eat, if you even eat anything. If you don't eat breakfast, then don't eat breakfast that day, right? Just do what you normally do, and that'll set you up for at least not doing badly. Now, if you have a more specific type of question that you want me to talk about, then Ali, then I can give you some tips on that specific type of question. But just generally speaking, there's nothing other than sleeping well, eating like you normally eat, okay, staying hydrated, drink water, and and have a positive attitude. Okay, those are the basics. Yusuf says 250 words. Oh no, I already answered that. Okay. Ali says you're doing well on math, but you feel some problems. You have some problems with reading, writing. You feel demotivated for concentration during verbal. So Ali's talking about concentration, which is also extremely broad. It's nebulous. Okay. But so I'm gonna start with a pretty broad answer as well. Okay. And it should help. I think it should be helpful to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. So, when you play a video game, not everyone here plays games, but some of you do, and I'm sure you can imagine what that means. When you play a video game, unless the video game just genuinely sucks ass, you'll notice that actually you concentrate very, very, very well. It's not that hard to concentrate. When you're doing well at a sport, like if you're like, if you're playing ball and like all your shots are going in, right? Or you're climbing and you still have a lot of strength. You're not fatigued yet, right? When you're doing well on a sport, you'll find that you're actually concentrating even more. So the first thing to recognize is that your concentration is not specific to you as a person. It's specific to the task that you are facing. Your concentration goes up depending on the task. And here's what do you think, before I say anything, I want you guys to think about this for a bit. What do you think is the thing that makes your concentration go down on a task? Sorry, I said the thing, but I mean the things. What do you think are the things that make your concentration go down on a task? I kind of foreshadowed some already, so you guys should be able to guess. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds to just share some answers, and then I'll pick this back up. Sounds, okay, your own psyche, right? By the way, guys, I've been having a sort of ongoing headache. It's a little better today, but I still have a bit of a headache, so drinking lots of water right now. Anyway, 20 seconds are up, and I saw some of your answers. So, one of those two I agree with, okay? The first one, thinking that you won't be able to focus, there is something called self-fulfilling prophecy. When you assume that it won't work, when you have dread, when you go into an activity, you do worse. When you are, for example, when you have to give a speech and you are dreading having to give a speech, you will do worse. When you have to read a book and answer questions about that book, and you are dreading reading the book, you will do worse. You will do worse, okay? Going into something and hating it before you even do it, dreading it, or feeling deflated before even doing it, it will make you do worse. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Completely agree. Sounds, I do not agree. Sounds, it's actually a side effect of you not focusing. It's not the other way. It's not a cause, right? For example, when you are playing games, you'll notice that you're not sensitive anymore to the sounds that are next to you, that are behind you. Your mom might even be yelling at you, and you still won't notice that your mom is yelling at you because you're so in the zone, right? Sounds are not a cause. They are an effect of you losing focus. Okay, So that let's not get the cause and effect mixed up here. So sounds, I disagree with. The couple basic things that I foreshadowed earlier was your physical condition. When you are climbing and it's like your first climb of the day. You're still physically you still have all your energy. You can really just hyper concentrate on your footing and like how you're gonna get up this, how you're gonna get up this wall, how you're gonna scale this wall. Okay, but then now you've been climbing for an hour and you're exhausted, right? Now it's really hard to focus on your task because your body is it keeps telling you you're in pain, you can't do this, right? So physical condition is actually super important. Even for something like a test, it's easy to get uncomfortable. Like if you drink way too much coffee that day compared to like other days, it's very easy to just get very uncomfortable physically while taking that test. Stuff like that. So your physical condition is super important. The other thing that drops your concentration, hang on. Was there one more that I foreshadowed? Oh no, this one's actually kind of intersecting, but actually I already said this whole thing about dreading, but basically like the amount of fun you're having. Okay, now this one's gonna sound a little crazy for some of you guys, but the like trying to have fun. Okay, even if it doesn't feel fun immediately, but trying to have fun will keep you going. But if you feel that you're not having fun, this is very similar to dreading something or hating it or thinking it's not going to go well. Okay, if you can't sustain the idea that you're having fun, that'll also drop your concentration. So so those are some basic things. Here's the thing that I think though that is really hard to implement, but that if you can actually crack the code, if you can figure it out, it'll make a huge difference in your life. Okay. I got some of the basic things out of the way. I got the physical condition, your mental condition, whatever, right? What's the thing that I think makes a lot of sense, but I've never seen written anywhere, okay? The thing is, when you are solving a reading question, the reason you feel demoralized by it, besides the physical condition, besides the mental condition, the reason is because the task feels way too large and the task feels way too open-ended. Like, what am I even doing? What am I looking for? Where am I supposed to look? What am I supposed to do now? And so when those questions accrue, if it's like one time every 30 seconds, that's like roughly manageable. But if you suddenly get like 3 things that happen and you're just uncertain within like 10 seconds, what happens is you start zoning out. Okay, your body can't take it. You zone out and you're like, and that period, just depending on your sensitivity to your environment, it can go on for like 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 seconds. It can go on because especially if you're not sensitive to the pressure of the test, sometimes it's just relaxing to not think about anything, So it's kind of addictive, if anything, to just sort of not be doing anything in the middle of a test. So what's the solution to that? Take this big, broad task and break it down into tiny, tiny, tiny tasks that take like 5 to 10 seconds to complete. What's the 5 to 10 second action that I can perform like right now? When you're climbing, every 5-10 seconds, you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, right? You're looking for the next. You're looking for your next foothold. You're looking for the next place for you to grip, right? When you're playing a sport, especially like a team sport, for example, people are constantly yelling at you and you're communicating, so you constantly know what to do for the next 5 seconds. There's always something for you to do for the next 5 seconds. So how can you force yourself to have something to do for the next 5 seconds while you're taking a reading test? Okay, for that, you want to
whether it's Moby Dick passage like August.
You want to define your order of operations, okay? And you want to start breaking down. You want to start breaking down like the actions that you perform in a test into very specific, concrete mini tasks, okay? And these mini tasks will help you stay on track, and you will focus a lot better. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole order of operations lecture here because you guys can just sort of watch it. By the way, if you don't know, you can download a, what do you call it? A video speed connector, okay? Oh, you can't see my, my menu. It's kind of annoying. Okay, well, anyway, no, so I can just show you Chrome Store. So you can download video speed controller, and then right now, if you just look over here, I have my video to, like, for example, 3.5x speed. This is 3.5 times faster. So I can just
For now, let me say, hey, welcome to the channel. If you're not subscribing, but you want to be getting
watch a video super fast. If you hit C, you can get the what do you call it? The subtitles.
sort of beyond these shallow tricks that is sort of commonly available on the internet. You want to get a little deeper into reading and in future also writing.
So you can read and listen at the same time. It's a lot faster when you do it that way. Okay. So if you don't have 40 minutes, you could cut it down to 20 minutes if you just use this. So that's my thing on focus. All right, starting from the bottom up, can I answer your previous question? I'll get to it when I see it. When I watch your videos solving DSAT questions, you get overconfident, think that you're going to get 780. I'm glad that I can boost your confidence and make you feel good. Now you need to go and figure out what you're doing, what you're doing wrong. Okay. Check your right answer right after solving it. That's process elimination. I mean, I don't disagree with process elimination. Just remember that process elimination always costs time, so you have to decide whether it's worth the time. Okay. So make a deliberate choice to invest that time. Clexi says 1160 on your first try. Is that a good score? Is there a chance you get 1300 on this trial? Yes, there is a chance, but I don't know what you've done. I don't know what you've done between your first and the second attempts. So if you've been practicing a good amount, then 1300 is reasonable. If you've not practiced at all, if you didn't review your mistakes, if you didn't put any work in, then no, it's not very reasonable. So it really depends. Is that a good score? There is no such thing as a single good score. You are above average. You are above average for the United States of America. That includes everyone. If you just look at the entire population of the United States of America, you are above average. If you look at only the people who are motivated enough, if you look at only the people who are motivated enough to watch YouTube videos on the SAT, which is not everyone, right? Only the weirdos will actually go to YouTube and look it up. Then I think you are slightly below average. So just compared to the people that are looking up SAT videos on YouTube. But that doesn't mean that you can't improve. You can improve. And the way to improve is by putting the work in. The most important thing about these scores is not whether Saul thinks it's good or bad, whether your mom thinks it's good or bad. The most important thing is whether you want, which school you want to get into and what score you need to get into it. So if the school that you're looking at, the average score is around, I don't know, 1200, then that's good. That's good for you because that means that you actually have, you probably don't have to do that much more work, really. You could just take the SAT and then move on. If the school that you want to get into is, the average score is like 1300 or 1400, then you have some more work to do, right? So is it good? Well, it depends on what school you want to get into. Read somebody's giving tips. TS47 is giving tips. Think that I won't be able to focus. Sounds. Oh, okay. No, so I've already seen all this. I don't know, Yusuf, what your earlier question is. I think you're talking about, the 1 month. Okay. So Yusuf said he has 1 month till his exam. 1440. Haven't taken the real SAT yet. Why am I zoning out? 1440. Digital SAT Is this digital SAT? I can't tell. Okay. And I'm able to get 770 on math because you don't know the concepts. Then sounds like you need to learn the concepts. If your diagnosis is correct, you just need to learn the concepts. That's what it. Tell me, am I wrong? Okay, Ali. Yeah. So I think the invisible. Okay, so let's actually look at the. Let's look at this example here. My prediction is not just from some sort of like magical, like the Lord in heaven is not telling me the answer. You know, where's my actual answer? Where's my prediction coming from? Right? It's coming from my understanding of this paragraph and my logical chaining of the ideas that are in this paragraph. Okay? Sometimes I don't fully understand a paragraph. When I don't fully understand a paragraph, that necessarily means that my prediction is not going to be as confident a prediction. Then what do you think I should do when my prediction is not very confident, right? I'll still do the same thing. I'll still look at A and B. I'll still do a quick skim of A, B, C, D to try to match my prediction. But because I'm not as confident in my prediction, now I'm going to do process elimination. Okay? I'm going to double check A, B, C, and D. The thing that you want to have is understanding, prediction, high confidence, quickly skim, match, move on. That's what you want to have. But that's not always possible. That's not always possible. So in those cases, you need to do, oftentimes you need to do some process elimination. Oh, you do know the concepts. You make stupid mistakes. You can't get to 800 with those stupid mistakes. So I think let's get that out of the way. You can't. You have to figure out why you're making those stupid mistakes. So why are you making those stupid mistakes? Why does anyone make stupid mistakes? Because it's only stupid in retrospect. In the moment, you don't feel it's stupid. You don't know in the moment that you're making a dumb mistake. It's like, oh my God, I'm so stupid right now. It's definitely C. You don't know that. Right? You only know it in retrospect when somebody tells you the answer. I was like, oh my God, it's B. And as soon as you look at it, you get that feeling. Fuck. I'm so stupid. Because of course it's B because of, right? And then you know the explanation right away. You can explain once somebody already tells you the answer. Right? This is the same as when, like if I ask you to define ameliorate, versus if I give you an example sentence where ameliorate is the answer to the blank, okay? Which one's harder? Define ameliorate versus hang on. In light of the recent tensions, the two committees met for a social meeting to blank the unfavorable opinions that have been popping up. Like, I think everyone knows the answer to this. If the teacher asks you to define ameliorate, that's like 100 times easier than the teacher giving you a sentence with a blank and you have to remember to use the word ameliorate, right? It's way easier to just define it. Well, it's also way easier to look at the answer B and just defend the answer B and explain why B is correct. It's a lot harder when you don't know B is the answer to go and figure out with high confidence that B is the answer. especially when you're doing it under time pressure. So, why are you making those stupid mistakes? The thing that you really need, like the sort of neutral answer to this is you actually need to go back and try to remember every single step that you took. Like, it's not good enough to explain why B is right. You need to go and so a lot of times, 90% of students, this is what happens when they see a dumb mistake. Okay, they take the test. They chose C on that one question. They look at the answer key. They got it wrong. Then they look at B, and then they see the answer, and they're like, "Holy shit! I can't believe I missed that." And then they say, "Oh my god, it's so obvious it's B. You just have to do this and this and this and this, and it's B." And then they just move on. That's it. They literally spent 10 seconds on that question, okay? Because they already know it's a dumb mistake. They already know how to explain B, right? But why is it not enough to just look at it for 10 seconds and to know why B is B and why C is wrong? Because you never figured out what made you choose C in the first place. You have to spend at least another 5 minutes on it. Like, seriously, like, think about it. Why did I choose C? So start there. So then you have to think, okay, first I looked at this, and then I looked at this, and then I thought this. Then I thought this. And then I saw these two words. Oh, and then I linked these two words. Oh, and fuck, I thought these two were synonyms. But they're not synonyms. Oh my God, why did I think they were synonyms? And then you have to think, why did you think they were synonyms? And then you have to like really, you have to be like, oh, it's not complement, it's complement, right? You have to like figure out what confusion you had in your head. Oh, dude, I was thinking complement for some reason. Oh, I just didn't read that word very carefully. And then I actually thought the opposite thing. But then a lot of kids will stop here and be like, okay, it's because I just confused this one word. No, don't be lazy. Finish this. Because you know what happened afterwards? Oh, I thought complement, not complement. So then I looked at B and C, and I felt like C was kind of weird. I was not 100% confident on. I was not super confident on C. Because even the word complement doesn't make that much sense, right? So I didn't feel very confident on C, and what did I do then? I just chose it, and I moved on. I didn't bookmark it. I didn't circle. I didn't double check anything. I didn't double check the word complement. I just moved on. Now you're done. Well, actually, no. Now you're done with the first part. Now the second part is this. Okay, what do I have to do next time? And you have to think about it. Like, is it reasonable for you to actually stop yourself from confusing complement versus complement? No. I think for most kids, it's not. You're going to make that, it's hard to stop that kind of confusion from happening. It's very natural for that kind of confusion to happen. So then what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just be confused and move on and just hope that you get lucky? No, you should be satisfied with that, right? You have to then think of the next opportunity you had to save your own ass. So when was that next opportunity? Is probably when you were looking at C and you thought, oh my God, I'm not very confident in C. You know, there's like a word here that's a little iffy here, and it doesn't really directly connect to complement, right? Then what are you supposed to do when you are not confident on C and you still choose it anyway? Well, I think the most obvious thing you could do is you could have at least bookmarked it, right? So that you could come back to it later. Then when you come back to it later, then what do? Like, what are you supposed to do then? A lot of times what happens is you're just going to do literally the same steps all over again. So how do you force yourself to look at the passage with new eyes that you don't you don't use your biased eyes to look at it and just think the same thoughts, right? But instead try to have new thoughts about it. How do you do that? So one thing you could do is you could cover all the answers. And then you could just like take some moment to just slowly breathe and like try to reread the passage to make sure you have fully understood the passage. And maybe then you'll actually figure out that complement was actually complement, and now you understand what the error was in the first place, right? That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to go and figure out why you made the dumb mistake in the first place. People call it a dumb mistake. And because they call it a dumb mistake, they think that they don't have to do anything about it. It's just like some dumb luck thing. It's not. It's a bad habit that you have, and you need to fix that habit. Like you need to change your habits. Like the dumb mistakes are happening because of habits. I mean, imagine if Michael Jordan his whole life, every time his ball didn't go in the hoop, right? That was dumb. Like imagine can you become Michael Jordan by just saying, "Oh, that was dumb." Like what the hell? Like no, you have to be hyper obsessive. You have to think about it. Like why did that not go in? What did I do? Did I position myself in the wrong place? With the defender, right? Was it mental? Was I thinking about the wrong thing, right? Was I momentarily hesitating between passing and shooting? Like what was the thing that made it likely that you're not going to get that shot, right? Like you can't just be like, oh, it's a dumb mistake, okay? Because that just makes you lazy. So put the work in, figure it out. Why did you make that mistake? It's on you. Figure it out. All right? That's how you get an 800 on the math. Just figure out why you're making those dumb mistakes. They're not dumb mistakes. They're habitual mistakes. Zooming in. Zooming in definitely enhances attention. It's just physiologically true. If you do like UI UX research, like less context will help you focus. But if you should definitely not try it for the first time in your life on test day. You should test it out before test day, like today or tomorrow. Test it out and see if it feels better. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change your score on that one day, because it's a little random sometimes whether your score goes up or down. But you should. But does it feel better when you do it? Right, when you zoom in. If it feels better, then just commit to it and just do it on test day. If it doesn't feel better, then just commit to not doing it and don't do it on test day. Okay? But you have to. There is no one like. Some students they like to hide the timer. Some students they don't like to hide the timer. Me, I would hate to hide the timer personally. But for some students that I tutored, it makes sense for them to hide the timer. And, there's specific reasons why. There's not a single way of approaching the test that's absolutely correct for things like that. So test it and figure out what feels good. If it feels good, then just trust that feeling and just do it. On test day, do not change anything. Whatever you committed to doing, do it exactly that way. Okay? Do not change the way you're taking a test in the middle of a test. Especially not the real test. It'll only make your score go down. It will not make your score go up. Meld. Hey, it's actually evening out here in Asia, but yeah, good to see you. It's a surprise. Is that Kyle? I'm assuming you're Kyle. Well, good to see you here. Now, G, you're saying that you have a hard time with the second module because it's lengthier. I mean, it's not lengthier. It is harder though, right? I don't know what your. Oh, actually, G, you have to tell me what your current score is. Can you tell me your current score? I'll answer your question once you give me the score. You know what? Should I stick this? Let me see if I can fix this thing here. All right, All right, that's hyper ugly, but right now I just don't have a better. Just so freaking. I don't have a better way of doing this right now, just because my setup has been. Recently, I got my computer wiped out, not by choice, so I'm like setting everything up again. That's roughly, that works. Okay, I'm just gonna stick that over here. That kind of works, right? Yeah. So the highest score you got is 670, And so what that means is you're getting roughly, depends on the test, but that sounds like you're getting roughly, let me just double check for reading, writing, 7, 8 wrong? 7, 8 wrong? So if you're getting 7, 8 wrong, I don't think you should suddenly assume you're not going to get 7, 8 wrong tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. You're going to get probably 7, 8 wrong the day after tomorrow, okay? But we can be a little bit more optimistic and cut off maybe 1 or 2. So let's say you want to now get 5, 6 wrong. Okay, 5, 6 wrong. Okay, then in 2 days, what can you do to improve your score? You can just identify when a question is in the 5 zone or the 22 zone. What do I mean by 5 zone and 22 zone? I think you can probably figure it out. Every module has 27. Every module has 27 questions, right? Oh, sorry. This actually is out of 54 questions. But okay, no, I'm going to call it the 4 zone. Okay. So you have, for the second module, let's say that you get 4 wrong. Okay? That your goal is to get 4 wrong on the second module. Then you have a 4 zone and a 23 zone. Okay? Now, the most urgent thing for you to do is to not spend 3 minutes per question on the 4 zone. Instead, you should be spending like 2 minutes per question on the 23 zone. Do not waste all of your time on the questions that you're going to get wrong anyway. So, when do you know, or how do you know if a question is in the 4 zone for you? Hey, just periodically, about every 30 seconds, check, is my confidence on this question going up, staying the same, or is it going down? If it keeps going down, then after 2 minutes, you have to bail. You cannot spend any more time. The only reason that you spend more than 2 minutes on a question is because your confidence is going up. Okay? If it is not going up, just surrender. Accept it. This is one of those 4 questions I am going to get wrong. Let it go, okay? And focus on getting the other 23 right. If you do this well enough, what you'll find is that actually, after you go through all 27 questions, right? You'll realize that actually you have 4 minutes left over, 5 minutes left over, sometimes 8 minutes left over, it depends. So what you can do is you can actually go back to the 4 zone with 5 minutes left, and you can give it a second try, and you might even be able to scrape by a single win in the 4 zone. So like you'll be able to get one of those 4 questions correct. At that point, you'll get like a 700. Like seriously. But the problem is not time management in some sort of broad, like, oh, I just suck at being aware of time. No, it's not that broad. You know what it is? It's that you are on question 14 and there is no hope of you. For the love of God, there is no fucking hope that you're gonna get it. You spent 1 minute, you're confused. You spent 2 minutes, you're confused. You spent 3 minutes, you're still confused. But for some reason, because you know what you are? You're like that B+ kid at school. And it pisses you off that people who don't seem that smart get better grades than you. So you just put more and more effort into it, right? And you're perfectionistic in that way. I'm not saying this is actually you, but you're like that kid. You're perfectionistic. So even though it's a losing game, it's a losing battle, you keep pouring more and more time into that one question because you're under the illusion that you're gonna get all of them right. No, let it go. You're gonna get 4 of them wrong. Accept it, all right? But just then be strategic with your time usage and focus on the 23 you're gonna get right. By doing that, you might get 24 right, okay? So be aware of that. Yeah, my machine got wiped. That was fun. iCloud. iCloud is a hell of a drug. I don't want to get into that story. I made a little rant on Reddit, so I'll move on from that one. You made 10 mistakes in the math section. So I don't know if that's a representative performance. If you normally make 10 mistakes wrong, if you normally get 10 wrong on the math section, if you normally get 10 wrong on the math section, you should accept that. Don't delude yourself, okay? Don't delude yourself. The only way, the truth will set you free. The only way you're going to get better is by accepting your current position, not by pretending it's not the way it is, okay? So if you've been getting 10 wrong on the math for the last 3 practice tests, accept it and assume that you're going to get probably 10 wrong again on the next practice test, but now your goal is to get 8 wrong, maybe 9 wrong, okay? So then break it down. Realistically, on the first module, that means you're probably going to get 2 wrong, okay? On the second module, now you're going to get 6 wrong. Okay, figure out which 2 are the ones that are not worth spending time on and which 6 are the ones that are not worth spending your time on. Now, in math, it's actually easier because it actually progressively gets harder, right, towards the end. So actually, I don't really know how to strategize your time when it's like that because that's not my subject. I don't teach that. But figure out a strategy for that, for math. I don't really know. I can't give you a strong recommendation for that. But for reading and writing, you know, because the high difficulty questions are somewhere in the middle, what that means is you have to skip, okay? If you feel like this is going to take you more than 2 minutes, if you feel like your confidence just keeps getting lower and lower as you keep reading and as you keep trying to do this process elimination, just move on. Just make a guess, 50-50. Just 50-50 it, right? You eliminated A and C, now you're between B and D. Just choose one and be like, I got that one wrong. You'll flag it, you can bookmark it so you can come back to it later, but just assume you're going to get it wrong and move on. No, it's not true that you don't. No. They phased that policy out in 2016, so they no longer penalize you for wrong guesses. Yeah, that was a whole thing. That was a whole deal back in the day. 2016 was when they stopped doing that. Any last minute tips for vocab questions? Sorry, I just zoned out for a second because I was trying to remember. Look, when all else fails, it's probably not your vocabulary. For most questions, it's actually not your vocabulary that's harming you, okay? It harms you to some extent. It's your lack of confidence that's harming you the most. So what you do is you take your hand and you cover the answer choices, okay? Don't let yourself look at the answer choices. This is assuming you've already spent a minute or a minute and a half on it, right? So now you're in now you're at like 1 minute and 40 seconds or something, okay? And you already did process elimination, but you're still 50-50. Okay, at that point, what do? Just cover the answer choices. Look at the paragraph one more time. Make a prediction from your updated information, the best idea that you can come up with at that moment. It doesn't have to be a single word because sometimes you don't have the best vocabulary, but you can describe what goes in there. You can have like a phrase that describes what should go into that blank, and have that prediction in your head, and then just check your confidence. By the way, your prediction should but if you already spent a minute and a half, your confidence should be probably medium or medium high. Sometimes your confidence will even be just actually straight up high. Okay. Then once you have a pretty high confidence prediction, look at A, B, C, D, and do not choose the one that's a little off. If it's just even a little bit off, it doesn't feel right, just don't choose it, okay? So sometimes that means that you're going to choose the word that you don't know, right? Let's say you're between, I don't know, C and B or for some reason, right? And you just don't know what C means, right? But satisfactory, that's not my prediction. Then you just choose C, okay? Even if you don't know the word C, you just choose it because you were confident in your prediction. B is not your prediction, then you gotta choose the other one, okay? Just do it. And don't think about it again. Now you're done. You did the best you could. You didn't know that word. Just move on. Trust your prediction more than you trust your definitions. Your definitions suck. I'm sorry, guys. Your vocabulary at the age of 15, 16, it's not that good. Okay? Don't trust your definitions. Trust your predictions. Okay. Do I think it's different from the practice exam? Of course it's different because there's going to be different questions, but no, I mean, the format's going to be the same and the general difficulty is going to be roughly the same, but the difficulty is not always the same difficulty. It goes up and down a little bit, right? So just expect that. There's no guarantee. Nothing in the world is going to guarantee your challenge for you, okay? Part of the skill of being a good test taker is going into a situation not knowing everything, okay? You're dealing with that uncertainty. So, and it's a part of growing up, guys. The world is made by people who can face uncertainty and still thrive. So the test, the SAT, is just one little mini version of that challenge. You go into a situation, it's uncertain. Now you have to find your confidence somewhere from deep within and just gun it, okay? Now you're shooting. You have no other choice. Your back is against the wall. Just go. Just go. There's no more doubts at that point. It doesn't help you to think, oh, but what if I got an easier question next time? No, this is your challenge today. You are called for this. You're not called for some hypothetical other question, okay? The question that's in front of you, that's the one that you're supposed to defeat. So defeat that one, okay? Don't worry about these counterfactuals or these hypotheticals about what the experience of the person next door, okay, is like, or what the experience would be like if you took it in May instead of June. It doesn't matter, okay? The challenge is in front of you now. Yeah, the logic. Yeah, I mean, it's like a game. It's just which game do you play? Do you play the game that penalizes you, or do you play the game that doesn't penalize you? The game that penalizes you makes you a little bit more neurotic and more defensive. The game that doesn't penalize you makes you a little bit more willing to move forward and take risks. So the old SAT was kind of famously the one that you had to slow down on and you have to be cautious about, whereas the ACT has always been the sort of run and gun test. The old SAT would specifically penalize you for a wrong question. So I mean, that's just built into the name of the game. Some games are like that in the real world as well. I mean, if you're like an investor, for example, if you're an investor, when you make a bet, you're actually going to lose money. So that's like a real world analog to like a being penalized for getting for making the wrong choice. But I don't know. These are just games to me. I just think it's just each game just emphasizes different things. The old SAT specifically emphasized sort of like plodding, like slow, deliberate thinking, right? It was more like an IQ test that way. Whereas the current SAT is more about your background knowledge and your ability to read and synthesize information. So. Yep. I'm neutral about that change. Although I think most kids prefer not being penalized, obviously, because it's a little nerve-wracking. Raj, you have a DSAT exam, June 3rd, word and context. Don't understand the meaning. Oh my God, I just answered this. No. June 3rd, you should try to improve your vocabulary, but try to get your vocabulary. Don't get it from a list, okay? Just try to get it from actual past practice tests. The paper SAT is fine for this, for vocabulary, okay? Just go through your practice tests and make your own vocab list, okay? So you have a month to do that. That doesn't take that much time. Memorizing lists, it's not actually that efficient, so don't worry about, if you find one of those lists online where it's 500 words you need to know for the vocab for the SAT. I mean, if it makes you feel better, fine, but there's probably better, if you have a lot of time, fine, but if you don't have that much time, it's not really worth it. It'd be better for you to spend that time just doing another practice test and properly reviewing it, okay? So don't worry so much about that. Just make a vocab list as you study. I think that helps. All the other stuff that I just talked about with word and context, you should rewind and watch what I just said. If somebody has a timestamp for it, please share the timestamp. I'm gonna move on. EMT versus right, yeah, yeah. There are definitely. It's just different games. Gumchi, should you take a mock test one day before the test? That's really up to you. Generally, no. Generally, no, because if you've already been doing a lot of practice tests, then you're probably as prepared as you will be. One extra test is not going to make a big difference. But like literally, let's talk about the opposite extreme. You have literally never seen a SAT ever in your life before. You've not even seen a PSAT. Then my answer would change. Yes, take it now. Now, just like look at it. Look at test how it feels. Do it on the Blue Book app. Figure it out. So it depends on your situation. For you, Gumchi, I'll ask you one quick question. What do you hope to gain by taking one extra test? So I'll tell you what a good answer is. Oh, Saul, I just saw your video about order operations, and I just realized that I never really thought about that. I want to settle it. I've actually been juggling between two different strategies, and I want to settle this sort of debate that I have in my own head. So I want to take one more practice test, because I want to settle this one question that I have about my strategy. Okay, then yeah, take it. Settle that question. Go, because you know what that'll do? That'll increase your confidence for the day of the test. Go and figure it out. Figure out your strategy. Take that one test, and good luck on Saturday. But hey, if you think that conversely, I'll tell you what the more common psychology is, because what I just said is extremely uncommon. Most kids are not that self-aware of what their weaknesses are and what they're seeking. Most kids are like this. I don't know. I took 99 tests already, and my score has constantly been the same. But so like, let's say, let's actually be more specific. Oh, I took like 22 tests, and my last eight practice test scores, they've all been just anywhere between on reading and writing. It's been anywhere between 730 and 770, and keeps going up and down. Okay. Why do you want to take a test tomorrow? Oh, maybe I'll get a 770 and it'll make me feel good. Dude. But maybe you'll get a 730 and now it'll make you feel bad. Like, why would you take that test? Like, you already have enough evidence that you're somewhere between 730 and 770. For May, you're not going to be able to change that. And you don't even have a specific goal right now for taking that mock test. You're just like hoping you're going to get a 770, right? Or 780 even. You're just sort of blindly wishing that things go well. Dude, chill out. Relax. Go kick a soccer ball or something, man. Like, do something else. Like, relaxing is gonna help you more than just blindly wishing for like a better outcome. So chill the fuck out. Get out of your room. You're tiny, smelly, unorganized. Like, go clean up your room. Your mom's been complaining about how you've not been cleaning your room. Just clean your room, dude. Like, do something else. So it depends, all right? It depends. But I've given you 3 scenarios, okay? Which scenario is the closest to you? I think you can extrapolate your answer from that. Do I play chess? No. I saw a good tweet recently that talked about how chess is basically a memory game at some point. And once I read that tweet, I was like, I'm never going to play chess in my life. so no chess. No chess for me. Although one of my students that I'm tutoring is like has an ELO of, was it 1,000? Isn't it? I don't know how chess ELO works. Oh, so 1,000 doesn't put you in the top 10%. It puts you in like the top maybe. Oh, it's only in the middle? That's insane. That's insane. 35 million. I see. So this is like what, like for like league, is that like silver? Yeah, maybe has a higher. Maybe has a higher elo. I don't know. I'm not really a chess person, so I have no idea. Does retaking practice? Yes, it does. It does help. It helps for a couple reasons. Retaking a practice test, it kind of reminds you, just from a pure psychological standpoint, it reminds you of how much you grew. So you take it again, and especially if you no longer really remember the questions anymore. Okay, so if it's been more than 2 months since you last took it, then you'll likely have forgotten most of the questions. It depends on you. If you're already getting like 750 or above 2 months ago, then you'll still remember most of the questions. If it's only 2 months ago, but like a year later, you won't remember anymore. But if you're getting like 650, for example, 2 months ago, and now you're getting closer to 750, then when you retake that test, you'll actually have forgotten most of it, if not all of it, and you'll realize how much you grew. And that by itself will increase your confidence. So actually going back to Gumchi, who was talking about taking a mock test the day before, if you really just need a confidence boost, it might be good to just retake a previous practice test, because what that'll do is at least it'll remind you of all that has improved in the past month or two or whatever. The other reason to retake a test is because you're out of materials. That's the second reason for taking it. Now that doesn't really apply when you only have 2 days left for the test. So I'm just gonna move on from that one. And then the other reason for retaking a test is because you the first time you took it, you were under 700. So honestly, if you didn't get over 700 the first time on a test, like it's still reusable, because now that you grew a little bit more, now you can learn the other harder questions, and when you come back to it, you'll learn even more. More important than retaking a test, though, is for me, especially for the paper SAT. I don't know who here is paper SAT anymore, but because no one's really sharing whether they're paper or TSAT. But anyway, if you're taking the paper SAT, the really important thing about a test is that you need to reread the passage. You need to go and reread the passage. Like when you review, don't just do the questions and answers. Go and reread the passage. Go figure it out. Figure out how to map the passage, and like, try to figure out why you didn't see the transitions in the passage the first time, okay? Like, oh my God, the third paragraph, that's a concession. Or, oh my God, the third paragraph, that's a control. I didn't see that control, okay? So try to figure out when you're reviewing that passage, what are the words or what are the phrases that I needed to notice to realize that this was a transition into a concession or a transition into a control or whatever, right? And map that passage, okay? Because now you have unlimited time, you're reviewing, and so you should be able to get a very good map of that passage. And then next time, when you see a similar passage, you'll be trained, okay? It's actually probably the most important thing you could do. In terms of improving your map of the passage. Am I in the USA? No, I'm not. I'm in Vietnam. I am in Vietnam, so pretty far from the US. Although I do see some US kids. So Eggdog is American, or at least situated in America. Spandy, are you in the US as well? We're having some US people come in because right now in New York it's 9:20 a.m. Okay, so good morning, New York. And it is 8:20, so I've been streaming for about 2 hours, right? Am I right? I think I've been streaming for about 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay, so you know what, guys? I'm a little tired. I've been talking a lot. So, you guys, I'm gonna do last call for questions, and I'm gonna end this stream in 10 minutes. So last call, 1 more minute. If we have no more questions, then I'm just gonna chill and then go. Good time though. A lot of people joined this time, so I got to answer a lot of questions today. That's not a word. P is also not a very useful letter. Meld, Kyle, thanks for joining in from Berlin. Berlin via US? So that sounds like you're in the US right now. Okay, yeah. Thanks for joining in. Do I speak Vietnamese? I speak about 20 words in Vietnamese. Why am I so unlucky with... I didn't get a single vowel. Okay. I got no SH, no ST, no SW. So SL, SP, spicy, spire, SP, SL works, SU works, Su. This is such a low probability word, but I'm just gonna do it. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Gee. Oh my god, that's such a... Dude. Oh, wow. That was not expected. That was a very low probability word, guys. There were so many other words that could have worked. That was so lucky. Let me... Wait, what? Jesus. Anyway, that was funny. Did not expect that. Okay, let's go back to the questions. Can I speak some Russian? No, not even a single word. It's funny, I'm good at learning languages, but when I don't have an interest in like if I haven't begun the process of learning a language, I will not even learn a single word from it. It's only when I decide to learn it that like I actually learn anything. Thinking, confidence. I talked about confidence multiple times today, so I'm just gonna do a quick recap, and this will be my final answer today. So, real quick. Confidence. Oh, my brain is mush. Give me a sec. Oh, yo, look, I think I talked about this about midway through. I don't remember exactly where. If anyone knows a timestamp, let me know. Okay, share in the comments somewhere. But I talked about this idea of just accepting your score. If you've been getting 730, okay, assume you're gonna get 730, and then count it. Count how many questions that is. So 730 means probably around 7. I mean, obviously it depends, but you know, it's anywhere between like 5 to 8 questions, something like that, right? On the reading and writing. So count it. Count how many questions you are likely to get wrong, and then divide it up by modules. So module 1, you're gonna get 1 wrong, maybe 2. And then you're going to get on module 2, you're going to get 4 wrong, maybe 6. Okay? So 1 wrong, maybe 2, 4 wrong, maybe 6. Now, what that means is that you should assume on the first module, you'll skip 2 of these questions. On the second module, you should assume you're going to skip 6 questions. Okay? Same thing for paper. Just check it. On the history, instead of modules, it's just genre of the passage. So if it's history, if you assume you're going to get 4 wrong on the history, okay, then assume you'll skip them. Why do you skip them? Because you want to save time. I talked about this in more detail in the middle of the stream, so you can go and find it. But this will increase your confidence because you'll realize that you were actually wasting a lot of time in the past on questions that weren't even worth it for you. Okay, and so you'll realize at the end of after you go through all the questions that you have a lot more time left over because you just accepted the reality as it is, and then that gives you extra time to go back over the hard questions if you so dare. So that'll boost your confidence. Another thing could be just to retake an old practice test. Like I said earlier, if you retake an old practice test, it'll remind you of all the things you have learned. And the last thing that you could do is you could go through my order of operations video, which should come up around here.
Whether it's multi-passage like August at national test or not, you're still able to be flexible enough.
Okay. Stop panicking. Define a repeatable, adaptable order of operations. Okay, so go and do that. And that this will help you increase your focus when you are taking the test because you're breaking down large tasks into very, very small mini tasks that take like 5 to 20 seconds each. Okay, so go and do that. All right, that's it for me, guys. I am exhausted. I've been talking for 2 hours straight, so I'm gonna go. Span, go ask Reddit. Okay. I'm like my brain is pork porridge right now. I want to go relax. I'm gonna go relax right now. Oh, I can't even relax. I have more work to do. Okay, so guys, I got work to do. I'm gonna go. Hey, good luck on the test 2 days from now, and as always, keep on learning, keep on growing. That never ends. That never stops. Peace.